brutal first year in college. His grade point average was so low, he had no choice but to withdraw. He discovered that playing athletics at that level was not only difficult for his academics, but punishing on his body, and that probably would have future consequences as well. So he left school and worked for a while out in the workplace. Then started going back to school. He found that his life wasn't fulfilled in the workplace. And his grades still struggled a little bit. He had lost his confidence academically. Until one day, a professor said, "You write really well. I really like the way you write." And from that moment on, it was like a switch was thrown. He turned around and he found meaning and purpose and reason to be in college and went on to graduate. We wield an amazing power. Paul talks about it in Colossians. We share in the inheritance of the saints. And the inheritance of the saints is that Christ the King. We who have been through the waters of baptism carry with us the name Christ. You're called Christian. But much like that rough academic year, people that have worn things like this try to drive that idea out of you, make you think that, well, Christ the King is way up there and out of reach. Really doesn't have anything to do with us in day-to-day life. So it's no wonder so many people in the world today say, "Oh, I'm spiritual, but not what? Not religious." You know, well, we're in a multicultural, multi-faith age now. I'm spiritual, but not religious. And every time I hear that, I have one thought that runs through my mind. No, you're not. No, you're not. Spirituality cannot be arrived at on its own. The path to spirituality is through religion. It's through immersing yourself and myself in the myth, in the ethos of the body of faith in which we find ourselves, integrating that within us and awakening Christ. Here's an analogy for you. Oh, I'm spiritual but not religious. That's akin to me saying, you know what? I am a gourmet chef. Tell you what, I'll prove it. Come on over tonight and I will fix a meal for you. And you come over with great expectations. You know, oh, it's going to be good wine. Wonder what he'll fix, a fish, poultry, pork. And I whip out of the oven a frozen Swanson dinner. That's spirituality, but not religious. It's counterfeit. But spirituality that is grounded in a firm foundation of religion is one that accentuates the reign of Christ. Because that spirituality, grounded in the ethos and values of our faith, awakens the Christ within us. So when we go out that door, we wield unimaginable power. See, we're just not aware of that. You have unimaginable power to go through that door and shape this world. With the awareness of Christ and Christ awakened within you and me, we will change this world for the better. We will turn this world towards light. That's our inheritance. And we do this through spirituality. And one of the greatest tenets of spirituality, one of the first things, is awareness. Well, the first thing is commitment to the spiritual path. Because a lot of people sit in these chairs and call themselves Christians, and they don't even begin the path of spirituality. So the first thing is to begin that commitment on the spiritual path. The second, probably the most important, is awareness. Being aware and accepting everything about who I am. Standing naked in the presence of God, not holding anything back, putting the ego in its rightful place as servant, and letting Christ ascend as king, letting the self ascend as king. And the benefit of that is confidence. A confidence that I can go out into this world being aware and touch the lives of others and bring that awareness to them that they are God's child. They are loved, and they can do so much more than believing they are limited by sin. They're Christ on air. Much like Dr. Rose did at Sacred Heart University. When he said to my son, "You write really well." And his life turned around, and a horrible GPA that he had at St. Anselm at Sacred Heart University was recognized with honors upon his graduation. You have that power. I have that power. Grounded in our faith, working in spirituality. Let's go out there. Let's change the world.